My name is Benson Saulo. I'm the Australian Consul-General and Senior Trade and Investment Commissioner based here in Houston. And to celebrate International Women's Day, I have the absolute pleasure, on behalf of our wonderful partners, the Australian American Chamber of Commerce, to interview Gita Thakorlal. And it's such an honor to be here, and I really thank you for taking the time to really celebrate International Women's Day by sharing a bit of your journey and your vision for the world as well. In regards to your background, I know you may be a bit embarrassed. I'm gonna hopefully do your bio a bit of justice. But Geeta, you are the Executive Group Director for Information and Digital Delivery at Worley, and essentially. And please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but essentially your role is around enabling the energy transition by drawing on data, information technology, and digital technology across the capabilities of Worley to ultimately deliver a more sustainable future. What an awesome title and awesome mission that you are on, and it's really clear to see, looking at your experience, that you are such a multifaceted strategic leader with extensive global experience across the energy sector. And I know that during your 10 years at Worley, you have really built a reputation as an inspirational and also humble leader. You lead through influence, you focus on customer centricity, talent identification and development across your teams, and also the ability to drive change effectively, which a lot of organizations and leaders struggle to do. Your work has been acknowledged widely over the years, and just for everyone's understanding, so Geeta, you were the Chamber of Minerals and Energy's 2014 winner of the Women in Resources People's Choice Award. And in 2014, a finalist of Outstanding Women in Resources. You also were the winner in 2015 of our Consult Australia Champion of Change Female Leadership Award, and the winner of the Houston Business Journal Women Who Mean Business in the Energy Award in 2017. I love that title, Women Who Mean Business. It's fantastic. And it is really clear to see that you push boundaries, that you provide diverse perspectives and experience, but you also lead through collaboration and pragmatism. So thank you so much for joining the conversation today.
I'm really pleased to be here. Thank you for the opportunity, Benson.
No worries. So there's a few questions that I'd love to kind of discuss with you, and being International Women's Day, the theme this year is an equal world is an enabled world. I'm really keen to understand, what does that theme mean to you?
Yeah, no, this theme's always been very important. And looking at what the events of the world are, it's even more significant now. So when I think in the context of the energy and environment, I think of 3 E's. I think of energy, environment, and equality. And what does equality mean? That if we can enable and provide equal access, equal opportunity, create a level playing field, then women can act as enablers for others. So it is so important when you think about the mission we are on around energy and impacts of climate change and how we need to drive a sustainable future, the role that women need to play. We can only achieve that if we can provide equality. So it's very, very important, and it's a theme that's very dear to my heart.
Yeah, you mentioned about the role of women in the energy and resource sector. Now, this has historically been a male-dominated sector. In your time, have you seen this shift at all in regards to women leadership, but then also being a more inclusive workforce?
For sure, definitely seeing a shift, and the shift is happening, but I have to say that it's happening at a pace which really needs to speed up. So it's good to see that more and more organizations are embracing and introducing more women to all levels of organization, and certainly at the junior levels and then across to senior exec levels. But most organizations still have, let's just say on average, 20 to 30% representation. of women lead in roles. That is still not enough. And we talked about equality. So we have so much work to do in order to get to that stage. And we do know the benefits of having diversity in organizations where, you get different perspectives, the team dynamic changes. So, we are certainly seeing a shift, but we still need to keep the foot on the gas pedal to keep moving in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really great point that you have seen change, but it does need to move along at better pace. And the benefits of a more diverse and inclusive workforce is well documented. I know the Diversity Council of Australia have for many years been doing a lot of research around Australia around how companies are benefiting from more diverse and inclusive workforces. So I'm interested in what can companies and individuals do to really promote greater equality and inclusive societies and communities for women and girls.
Yeah, no, I think it really starts earlier on. I believe we have a lot to do to keep working at the grassroots, and that starts with schools and how we need to introduce curriculum and also have role models at schools so women can see, girls can see what opportunities lie for them, and how they can actually then progress through, regardless of what backgrounds they come from. And secondly, once you're in the workforce, I really believe that the hiring and the recruitment process really does need to keep reinforcing the value of diversity and have a requirement for a number of candidates, diverse candidates, more female candidates, so you can keep growing the pipeline. The issue is just not having enough in the pipeline. And just on the statistics we heard earlier, we just don't have enough women to come through. So we've got to work at every level and really, really focus on your recruitment and retention policies, but make it a focus.
Yeah, fantastic. You touch on two a really great path that I'd like us to go down in a moment around the role models and the importance of role models and mentors. And I'm interested in your reflection on your journey. But before we get there, I'm also you've been spoken about as a people leader, as a influential and humble people leader. That notion of the archetype of the leader. Do you think that we're currently reimagining what that is as we see growing numbers of female leaders coming through across companies and politics and society? Are we starting to rethink what a leader is and what they look like and how they lead?
Yeah, I think what we are hearing more, what we're seeing is the qualities that we are looking for in leaders is changing. So what we used to say more some of the softer skills, which were not kind of valued as much. So we talk about humility, vulnerability, and empathy. More and more people, when you're leading, you are leading people, you are leading, and particularly when you're leading change, it makes it even harder because you need to get people along the journey. So all of these qualities, women have more affinity to that. It's not to say men don't, but women are more, have more affinity. So what I do see changing is those qualities changing. But I don't think we need to reimagine it. I think we just need to harness the potential that women already have and embrace the power that women have. And this is going into women in all walks of life. So it's wives, sisters, mothers, and female executives along the way. So I really believe we need to embrace the power and harness the potential that already exists, because the qualities that women have now are even more regarded as what is needed for leadership.
I love that enhance and empower. I think that's such a really wonderful way, because it is actually drawing on the strengths that are already there, and amplifying that. And so coming to that comment around the role models, what is the role of role models in that empowerment or that amplifying or enhancing, I should say? And then also, how have you actually been able to tap into mentors and role models in your own life?
Yeah, look, the role of role models, I think it was undervalued, and the role of networking. But I've had many role models, women who have touched me in many ways along my journey from growing up and then also in my career. And all these women have left some impression. So it comes to kind of working with either like-minded people who look like you, people who think like you. And there's a power in numbers when you actually associate yourself with women like that. And it starts with, again, it comes back to family, your mother, my sisters, they were all there for you. And then you go into your workforce, and then you actually meet people in your own work environment, but also the industry you work in. So it's constantly looking at the women around you and what is it that you can learn, and keep coming back to how do you actually bring it all together so then you can be fulfilled as a leader. So there's so many women who have touched me, and I see my role very much as how can I use that to motivate, to really ignite the fire in women that they had. A lot of them probably don't have the confidence or the right opportunity presented to them. So showing a bit of a pathway and giving them the confidence that they can achieve what, is out there for them. So, so many women, and I've been very lucky to be given that opportunity.
I really like that notion of having that opportunity, then thinking, looking behind you or looking beside you as to who else is coming up, and providing that support and that mentorship as well. Down that path of mentorship, what kind of advice would you offer to young women starting out their career in the energy and resource sector?
Yeah, no, the advice I'd give you to women is we need you, the industry needs you, the challenges we are facing around the world, we just need talented people, and women are part of the talent pool, underrepresented, but a big part of the talent pool. So, and then going back to some advice, I would say, as I said earlier, the power of networking. Identify where you want to be, identify people, and network very effectively and strategically, so you can learn from those around you. And then I would always say that, believe in yourself. It's easier said, but do believe in yourself. And always look to opportunities that nobody else wants. Because I really believe that if you put yourself out there, you get recognized. And lastly, I would say be a lifelong learner. Because the journey we are on, you're constantly learning, and I think some of these things have really helped me, and keeping an open mind, and learning, networking, and taking opportunities that come your way. It really does help you to kind of progress your career.
Absolutely, I love that notion of the being that lifelong learner. That just what is achieved in the classroom is not where it stays. It actually forms part of how you work and how you continue to frame opportunities around you. So that's a really powerful message. In regards to Worley, now you have been there for around 10 years, just over 10 years, and have you seen the changes within your own workforce and women coming through in Worley and their influence across the organization?
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. At the leadership level I am at, reporting to the CEO, we have almost equal representation of women reporting to the CEO. And then when we look down below, we have got more women in operations roles. And we are actively ensuring that all our, as I said, our hiring and retention and recruitment policies are inclusive of all the diversity requirements we personally put on ourselves. And we've also got KPIs linked to our incentive plans. So, we really want to drive that change right from our CEO down to the people in the organization, because we do believe that if it's not visible, if it's not measured, it's harder to achieve. So we do want to put it at the forefront. And through that, we are giving a lot of women opportunities to get into roles which they didn't think they would. But what I do also say that when you provide those opportunities, you've got to provide the support structure around that, because you need to set people up for success. So it's great to give people opportunity, but make sure that they are supported while they're getting into this new role. We still have women in roles where it's still more men than women, so they could be in a conference room, it's their first time, just to make sure that there's some buddies or partners that then help them through that process until they feel comfortable. So we are doing a lot of coaching, mentoring, training around unconscious bias, training around ensuring that people understand, the role of diversity and inclusion in our organization. Yeah,
it's fantastic, and that's really where we're going to see significant change when organizations and teams, take a values statement and actually really live the values and really embed it. And it's nice to hear that it is part of the KPIs as well. There's that saying, you are what you measure, and if you want to be an inclusive organization and diverse organization, then you measure it, because you are what you measure, and I think that's a really important piece. So thank you so much for sharing your experience and your advice, and then also the journey that Worley has been on as well. And it is fantastic to know that Worley is such a a powerhouse here in the US as well, and a brand that we really look to across at Austrade, but then also at the Australian American Chamber of Commerce, to be one of those really strong leaders here in the US and say, this is how we do it in Australia, and let's see what we can do here in the US. And I think that's really fantastic. So thank you so much for sharing your journey and your insights for International Women's Day.
Thank you, my pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity again.